Okay, so I'm pretty sure that this is the first clip I've done on this section for this vlog, and my experience of this book is beginning to wane. It's still a good book, I'm still finding it enjoyable, but I don't know, I think certain parts of it are kind of like unstaying their welcome, if that made any sense. But it's a fantasy book, and there are bound to be characters in it which you prefer more than others. So when you're reading sections of a book based on the character which you don't find that particularly enjoyable, then that book and then that section may wane and be a bit of a drag. But anyway, what I've read of this book so far is that Tyron, when he was escorted to Lady Stark's sister, and he was kind of put on trial, and he was basically told that he had to fight for his life. Well, not him. He had to choose a champion called Bronn, I think is what his name is. I think in the movie when he won, when he basically defeated yeah, the other guy and won Tyron his freedom, the Queen, I think it was the Queen, it was such a long time ago since I've seen the TV series. I think the Queen said to him, "You have no honour." And he basically said, "Yeah, I don't," but he did. So he seems to he seems to encompass what a character in a grimdark book should actually be. So Tyron has won his freedom, and he is, I think, on the King's Road with Bronn, and he's basically saying to Bronn that if he becomes a glorified bodyguard for him, then he will give him anything he wants. And I think Jamie's trying to find Tyron to try to, I wouldn't really say I wouldn't really say to try to save him, but to try to get him out of the situation he's currently in. And we also follow Jon Snow when he's still at the Wall, and a group of men there that have been chosen to be members of the Night's Watch. Pretty sure that's what it's called. Because at the Wall, you are trained to be this protector, this fighter, this warrior of the Wall, to protect from all the creatures that are beyond the Wall that are trying to get into the main world. And Jon has been chosen to be one of these people, but Sam hasn't. And he basically feels sorry for Sam. He says that he thinks that he's going to be picked on for the rest of his life at the Wall. But he feels a kind of a kinship and a brotherhood with Sam. It's really hard to explain. But Jon is trying his best to make Sam a member of the Night's Watch, and basically to get him out of this situation. And yeah, it's basically where I am with the book right now. And yeah, hopefully as I'm going through it, it will open up and become better and better. I do not know if it's the fact that I'm reading so many things at the same time, but I am enjoying this book. It's not mind-blowing or anything like that, but it's a slow burn. It really is a slow burn. So we found out a little bit about the history of how the Iron Throne was made. And if you didn't know what the Iron Throne is basically on the front of the book. It's pretty much like well, not pretty much, it is the King's Throne, and all the swords in it, because it's made entirely of swords, are from swords from a past ruler that his enemies willingly threw on the ground in surrender, and he made a throne out of these. And it's described about how uncomfortable it is. I mean, it does look like it's a very uncomfortable chair to sit in, and some of the swords are still sharp as well. And yeah, just reading about Ned's section as well, it's very political. I'm not really big into politics in the real world, and not alone in the fictional setting. And we follow Sansa as well, and Ned wants to send them both to Winterfell, both his daughters back to Winterfell because of the politics and the drama, and how he doesn't want Sansa to marry Joffrey. And he says that he's not brave and a good man. You should marry someone good and honest and honourable, and I will pick someone for you. And this is what she says when Ned says that to her. I don't want someone brave and gentle. I want him. And that's basically her admitting the fact that she doesn't care what anyone else thinks about Joffrey, or even what she thinks about Joffrey. She's still very much into being prim and proper and being a submissive partner and ultimately a queen. And she still thinks that Joffrey's handsome and good looking and a good man, but yeah, she's what you typically think of as a typical princess, and wanting to please everyone. But this book is kind of a mixed bag. I am wanting to read more of this and to devote more of my time to this book and to this world, and just to dive into this world headfirst. Yes, I know I'm over halfway through, but I want to devote most of my time to this book and hopefully to this series as well. Hey guys, right, first off, sorry about the hair. I've just woken up right now, or been up for about an hour now, and I wanted to make this video because I wanted to make sure I had my thoughts recorded before I forget what happens. So, first off, I have been reading this book more than I usually do, and as a result, it's encouraged me to read more of it, as of course, but it's also got me really into the story. We found, or Ned's found out rather, about what happened to his son, and yeah, I think Bran. It's been a while since we've had the chapter about him and why he fell, and I'm not really going to say who he had a conversation with, but it was a good encounter and part of the book as well. And we've also been following Dany and her time with the Dothraki tribe. And Dany's brothers continued to be a drunken fool, and he came back to the tribe one day completely drunk, and basically saying how he wanted to take the dragon eggs and his sister from Khal Drogo if Drogo didn't say, right, I'm going to commit to being your army and I'm going to help you get your throne back. But because he came back drunk, he was an idiot, he was a fool, and Drogo gave him the crown that he wanted. Well, maybe the one that he deserved, but yeah, it didn't end well for Dany's brother. I mean, I was thinking about it on the way home. I was thinking, right, he could have established himself as a real powerful and important member of the tribe, but only if he put his pride and tradition to the side and embraced the tribe for what they were. But ultimately, he saw them as savages, as dirt underneath his shoe. He kept on referring to himself as the dragon and thinking himself more important than them. And yeah, he could have become more important in the tribe. He let pride get in his way. So I'm nearly finished with my section for this part of this vlog. Only got about 15 pages to do. So I'm excited to see about where this section ends up. Okay, so I'm nearly at 500 pages, but I'm going to cut it off for this vlog I'm about 497 pages in, so I'm going to round it up. It's been doing really well. I've been reading this book a lot today. Well, I mean, not today, but recently I've been reading a lot of it, and I've been really getting into it. I've been reading Ned's section where he's been talking to King Robert, who has come back from his hunt, and hasn't gone too well for Robert. And it's the end of his story, it's the end of his chapter, it's the end of his physical time in Game of Thrones. He may be mentioned again in other books in the series, but for now, his time is over. I won't say what happens in case you haven't read it or watched the series, and I don't want to spoil anyone, but let's just say that for now, he's walking into the sunset and out of the main story. But I've been reading a load of this book recently, and I've been getting into it, and I'm really determined to carry on with the series after the first book is over with. I've still got a long way to go for book one, but after book one I'll be definitely carrying on with the series. I'll be picking up book two right after I finish book one, and yeah, just I'm enjoying it so far. Yes, there are parts of it which I'm not enjoying as much as other sections, but yeah, that can go for any book, in any book there are going to be characters which you aren't that fond of, whether they are good guys or bad guys, and there are going to be sections in it which you are going to prefer reading more than others. It's just how it is, I suppose. But I just looked at the view count for the fourth part of this vlog, and I just have to admit I'm really surprised about the amount of people that I have seen watching it. About 55 views. I know it's not a tremendous amount, and just to echo back what I've said in previous parts for this vlog, I'm not doing this for the views. I'm only doing this vlog so I can help myself to get through this book a lot quicker than I would, because this is one of the books that most intimidates me, or did intimidate me, and me doing this vlog is my way of having some stepping stones so I can have a goal saying reach 100 pages and then talk about my experience. So I'm not expecting a lot of people to watch even this part, but if you have been watching this part, thank you so much, and yeah, I will see you when I get up to about 600 pages.